plan with her. I would. I'd like to make a motion to open the February 20th, 2020 Town Board as Police Commission meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To make a motion to approve the Town Board as Police Commission agenda.
Second.
And I have no announcements. I'd like to make a motion to go into
I said all in favor, aye.
all in favor, aye. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to conduct interviews and discuss personnel matters. And I'd like to invite Tony Hokinson to join us.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right back.
Let's do it.
I make a motion to come out of executive session,
Second?
and do you want to vote to appoint Tony or wait?
I'm happy to, if we want to do that, maybe just not set the term.
Yeah.
So I guess let's vote to end executive session, right? So all those in favor?
All right.
And then do you want to nominate her?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Tony Hokinson to serve on the Town Board as Police Commission.
Second?
No, wait, sorry,
The-
not that, I misspoke. To serve on the,
Advisory committee?
yeah,
Yeah, community advisory.
the Citizens Police Advisory Board.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Shoo. And with that, I'd like to open the floor for public input. If anyone has any comments. If not, let's, do you want to do the monthly report, or should we make some recommendations? Motion to recommend the following hires, transfers, promotions to the town board?
If you want, we'll do the report really quick.
Yeah, okay.
Seeing that they have to stay for the town board meeting anyway, and I know we're waiting for one officer to get here.
Okay.
I was working a shift, actually, that we're gonna be looking to put on for one of the full-time slots. So, and then we will need a short moment of executive session just to do some updates on some personnel issues.
Okay. So, over to you for the monthly report.
Okay, so so there's no letters of commendation for this month, and we have 2 defensive actions for the month of January. The first defensive action has 2 reports filed. It has to do with 2 individuals for the 2 reports, but it's the one incident, which was a fight. First subject, 21-year-old male, 5'11", 190 pounds, medium build, white, non-Hispanic, disorderly conduct. The other individual, 22 years of age, male, 5'11", 170 pounds, medium build, white, non-Hispanic. Again, disorderly conduct. Both were apparently under the influence of alcohol at the time. Both individuals were engaged in a physical altercation in front of one of the establishments on Main Street. The officers that handled the call, each of them announced their presence, told them to stop fighting, which they continued to still fight. Each officer grabbed their individual defendant at the time and put them in a bear hug and took them to the ground where they were placed into custody. Neither was injured during that arrest. No further action. The second defensive action has to do with one individual, and 2 reports were filed. 38 years of age, male, 5'10", 230 pounds, large build, white, non-Hispanic. Charges were disorderly conduct, harassment, and resisting arrest. Also suspected to be alcohol, under the influence of alcohol. The individual was also involved in an altercation, was told to leave the establishment that he was at, continued to be in a violent manner, continued to ignore warnings of leaving or being charged. Officers that attempted to approach the person advised him he was under arrest for disorderly conduct, at which time he began to walk away and then took a fighting stance with the officers. When the officers went to approach him, he then took off and they ended up tackling him on the ground. He still refused to listen to verbal commands, put his hands behind his back, continued to fight with the officers, and yell different racial slurs at the officer. They were eventually able to gain control of the individual, handcuff him, nothing further. At the time, he complained of back pain. He was checked out by the New Paltz Rescue, was called, but he refused any medical treatment. He refused treatment at the station again, and also refused to have any photographs or anything taken by the sergeant, which we do. That's custom anytime somebody indicates that they have some injury. And that's all we have for those reports. We still missing one officer here?
Why don't we go into executive session?
Executive session,
I'd
great.
like to-
Can we also invite Lieutenant Lucchese?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters
Second?
and invite Chief Snyder and Lieutenant Lucchese. All in favor?
Aye.
taken.
Second.
And we have a few minutes. Are all the officers here?
Yes, they are.
I mean, so I guess would like to make a motion to recommend the following hires, transfers, and promotions to the town board. Approval to hire part-time officer David Dugatkin. Approval for the promotion of Officer Brianne Quigley from patrol officer to patrol sergeant. Approval to promote Officers Zachary Mitchell and Jerome Milton to full-time status. Approval for transfer of Patrol Sergeant Matthew Sutton to the Detective Division as Detective Sergeant.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I think with that, we're probably done.
Yeah, we can start the town board meeting.
So we can
as soon
start
as
the
you
town
want.
board meeting as soon as you let me know when all the officers are here.
Everybody's here, everybody's ready on our.
So we can start the town board meeting early, and we can do all of that right now.
That'd be great.
That's great. Let's do it.
So I'd like to make a motion to close the Town Board as Police Commission meeting,
Second.
and I would like to make a motion to open the February 20th, 2020 Town Board meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with some, and I'd like to make some changes as well.
Second.
And I would like to move up the recommendations to the town board from the police commission before public comment, public input, so we can get them out of here and they don't have to sit here and listen to us get yelled at. So, and if
You want me to start?
everyone's in favor of, yeah, sorry, if everyone's in favor of that? All in favor?
Aye.
And now, so now we can start, sorry.
Okay, what I'd like to do is, we have some openings for our full-time status, so I'd like to start with that. We have 2 openings in our patrol officer. I made a recommendation to the commission to take 2 of our part-time officers, to move them into a full-time position. They are on our local list, so I'm happy to offer them to the board for approval to be hired. Officer Zach Mitchell, come on up, and Officer Jerome Milton. So Zach Mitchell, you may recognize both of these gentlemen. Zach's been with us about 2 years and has been part-time status with us. He's done a fantastic job. Been part of the NPPD family, and I'd like to make a recommendation for him to begin his full-time status on the 21st, which is actually tomorrow, filling in a vacant shift. So we'd like to have him begin that process. Then we have Jerome Milton. Jerome has been with us about 6 months now. Got that about right? A little more?
A little more.
Okay. I blink and another year goes by. So he's been with us. He's doing a fantastic job. We brought him on part-time. Grew up in our community. He's been a great asset to us. And again, part of our family. And we'd like him to also begin a full-time status with us. And his date would be effective February 24th, which is Monday, 2020.
Great. Well, yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the promotion of Officers Zachary Mitchell and Jerome Milton to full-time status.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You guys know what you're getting into, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Hi.
Then we can have Matt Sutton come up.
Yes. Yes.
So Sergeant Matt Sutton, he's been our night supervisor for 5 years. Was promoted in 2014. Before that, he was in our detective division for about 2 years. He started with our agency in 2008. Been a phenomenal asset to our agency when he was a detective and obviously as our night supervisor. We'll miss him on the nights, but I'm sure there'll be, his shoes will be filled with another one coming in. He's taking care of that training now, but we'd like to make a offer to the town to move him to the detective division as our detective sergeant to oversee that division.
So I'd like to make a motion to transfer Patrol Sergeant Matthew Sutton to Detective Division as Detective Sergeant.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I know Dave Diakin is not here tonight, but that's offering that to the town for the part-time position.
Yep.
He's going to be a big asset he was an asset to our agency when he worked with us in the past. He's going to be taking care of a lot of our discovery demands with the new justice reform laws. So we're looking forward to having him come on board. So we're all set to move forward with that if you want to do that, even though he's not here.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the hire of part-time officer David Dugatkin.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and last but not least, Brianne Quigley, come on up. So this is Brianne Quigley. She's been an officer with us since 2012. Don't need to say much about her because everybody knows about her. They see her face out there in the streets. She's been a phenomenal asset for our agency since she's been hired. We were happy to do incredible interviews. We had 4 candidates, so it was a very difficult decision because we have very good qualified people. We're very fortunate. Brianne actually did a fantastic job during the interview, as well as being on the sergeant's list. So with many pieces of input from our supervisors that presently work for the agency during the interview, we'd like to recommend Brianne Quigley to be a police sergeant for our department.
Great. Yeah, I'd like to make the motion to promote Officer Brianne Quigley from patrol officer to patrol sergeant.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations. So I do have one thing, seeing that usually we do swearing in at these, don't go away yet. Usually we do swearing in at the town board meetings also. We're unable to do that, seeing that our clerk is out here tonight. So they all will be going in to get sworn in either tomorrow or Monday. But in the meantime, I wanted to present her with her sergeant's shield. And you'll get your ID and everything after you begin that on Monday, but congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So you get everything else soon. And these are just those documents for that, for both hires. That's the officers, this is the sergeants.
Okay.
And then I'll touch base with Gene and Arlen this week for the forms that we fill.
Great, well,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all you had for me, right?
Yeah, I think that's it, and, so it's 7 o'clock, I guess we will open the,
Public input.
yeah, well,
Very
so,
much. Thank you guys all.
so
Congratulations.
I think we're gonna start with, we're gonna open the public, or continue the public hearing for the critical environmental areas, and so we have, we'll let people, we'll take a break for a few minutes and let people walk out. So we're going to open or continue the public hearing for the critical environmental areas. And so if anyone has any comments they'd like to make, please come up. We're not going to close it tonight, we're just going to keep it open. So if people come up, they want to say something. If not, we're just going to leave it open for a while. And I think you might be on the agenda as well, Ingrid. If not, then you're welcome to come up and talk now or later, right? So, yeah, I think maybe, Ingrid, you might want to you could come up now and talk as part of the public comment. And you're welcome to sit at the table if that's easier for you, or stand there, or whatever you would prefer.
What's easier?
That's whatever's easiest.
Come take a seat. Why don't you do that? There you go.
Huh? No, that's okay. Hi. How are you? Good.
Is the mic okay? Good.
All right. Well, good evening, members of the town board. I'm Ingrid Heckel, chair of the New Paltz Environmental Conservation Board, and I'm a resident of Plutarch Road. I trained as a biologist and geographer, and I've worked for the last 9 years in the field of conservation and environmental planning in the Hudson Valley. New Paltz is endowed with some exceptional and unique environmental features, including globally significant forests and regional wildlife corridors, high-quality wetland complexes, and habitats for threatened and endangered wildlife. We're in the midst of a biodiversity crisis and a climate crisis, as you've recognized, that threatens the life as we know it. The land use decisions we make today will have lasting impacts on natural areas in New Paltz and the numerous benefits they provide our community. At the last public hearing, I presented this proposal for establishing 6 critical environmental areas, which is a designation under SEEKR that allows the town to recognize areas with exceptional or unique environmental characteristics. And we heard some very supportive comments on that proposal at the last meeting, as well as some concerns since then about how this designation might affect private property rights. We encourage everyone to go and read the CEA proposal, which is not very long, or the FAQ document, which are both on the town website on the environmental conservation page. You'll see that the CEA designation does not affect construction of a single-family home, additions, minor accessory structures like garages or swimming pools, among other things. In short, it doesn't affect the vast majority of property owners and the typical activities they might undertake on their land. For those who might want to subdivide or do some other type of project already subject to environmental review, the planning board would need to consider on a larger scope how the project might impact a CEA. And the bottom line is CEAs do not protect land or prevent development. They do not take away any rights of property owners. They simply require consideration of potential impacts as part of a broader environmental review. Now, we've heard the concern that this may nonetheless create a burden of proof for applicants because the planning board won't know how to judge possible impacts of a CEA. But the planning board has access to a lot of existing information and maps and guidance that can be used to assess projects in these areas. In addition, New Paltz just received a grant to compile a townwide natural resources inventory that will be published as easily accessible online maps. You'll be able to zoom in to a parcel and turn on the different map layers to see what is already known in that area. And that, together with the scope of any proposed new development, could be used to determine whether additional information is needed or not. And for small actions, most small actions, we believe, the likely result will be that no further study is needed. Larger projects, which already require a SEEKR assessment, could include relevant habitat information tailored on the specific features and areas of concern in that CEA. Now, hypotheticals are hard to judge, so we did some research to find out how CEA designation is actually impacting or has impacted project review in 2 nearby towns, Hyde Park and Shawangum, which have had CEAs for about 15 and 30 years respectively. Neither of the planning board chairs I spoke to from those communities said that CEA designation had been the basis for a positive SEEKR declaration, nor that it had resulted in a burdensome review process. Rather, they said the CEA designation resulted in a deliberate focus on the particular resources of concern in that area that might be impacted, and together with other considerations like protected species habitat, wetlands, or steep slopes, helped guide developments to reduce impacts. Back to our proposal, we've heard the argument that New Paltz's SECRA process is already rigorous enough, and that our local laws regulating wetlands and watercourses, floodplains, and steep slopes provide enough regulation in the town. Our local laws are robust, but they are currently applied parcel by parcel, project by project, without requiring consideration of the broader ecological context. Without CEA designation, there's no specific requirement or opportunity to consider the bigger picture during environmental reviews. And of course, we all know that wildlife do not limit their habitat to 100-foot buffers generally and things like of that nature. So our current regulations do not affect many of the types of features and issues we're talking about in this proposal. We have heard concerns that CEAs will somehow stifle commercial growth and impact the tax base. However, the only proposed CEA that overlaps a business or industrial zone is the Swartikill Wetlands area along Route 299 near Ohioville Road. We delineated that CEA to include a 300-foot buffer zone around the wetlands, and within the business and industrial zones, however, the buffer area has already been, for the most part, developed, with the exception of 7 acres owned by Central Hudson and a ½ acre of land on North Ohioville Road. Note that the remaining CEAs are in residential zones, 70% occurring in the A3 zone, and based on this, and recalling that CEA designation doesn't prevent or restrict development, we contend CEA designation will have no measurable impact on potential commercial or industrial development in the town, and by that measure on the resulting tax base. And by another measure, a lot of people are drawn to New Paltz for our beautiful landscapes. A lot of the tourism activity that generates is because of these CEAs. We furthermore note that the highest concentration of CEAs in New York are in the most developed areas of the state, Westchester and Long Island. These continue to be the fastest growing areas of the state, and there's no evidence that CEAs are slowing things down. Rather, that the CEA designation is more likely to occur in communities that have already experienced some undesirable environmental impacts from development. Wouldn't it be better for New Paltz to plan proactively for the future of our greatest natural assets? Which brings me to the areas we have proposed. We've heard concerns that the proposed areas are too large. The CEAs are large because the natural areas themselves are large, which is part of why they're so exceptional. On this question, I reached out to John Nolan, professor of law and founder of Pace Land Use Law Center. He pointed out there's nothing in the SECRA regulations saying that CEAs should be small. In fact, he said the types of criteria in the regulations for CEA designation would tend to suggest that CEAs should be large. Lastly, and perhaps of greatest concern to the ENCB, we've heard the argument that, with the exception perhaps of the Ridge, the other proposed areas are neither that unique nor exceptional, and thus should not be designated CEAs. This is important because if we are unmoved by information explaining and justifying the significance of these areas coming from New York State DEC, the New York Natural Heritage Program, the Nature Conservancy, Ulster County, our own open space plan, then we risk continuing to overlook their importance as new development is proposed in them. ENCB can continue to bring up this information, which we have in the past, but without an official town designation, it may have little impact. So as I conclude, I want to stress why the timing for CEAs is right. We don't have any major projects in any of these areas right now that would be affected, but that could change any day. We should anticipate that development can and will eventually happen on any parcel of land that is not protected in our town. CEAs do not protect land, but will provide a minimum measure of oversight to ensure that New Paltz's exceptional habitats and resilient connected lands do not experience death by 1,000 cuts. The ENCB appreciates the town board's consideration of this proposal, and we're here to support you with moving it forward, and we want to thank you for your commitment to making New Paltz a wonderful place to live and helping protect our environment. So in addition, I've provided tables that have the acreage of land by zoning district within the CEAs and acreage of land protected already in nature preserves or under conservation easement in the districts. And based on a comment at the last public hearing, I put together a map showing areas, the proposed areas in relation to existing mapped wetlands and the regulatory buffers approximately under our town law and FEMA floodplain information, and existing protected land, parks and preserves in the community. Thank you.
Nice. Can I keep this?
Thank you. Yes, you can keep that.
Nice. Thank you.
And I'll leave these for other members. Yeah.
They're not here, so we'll just give it to them and put them in there.
Thank you.
If anyone else has any comments about the CEAs, please.
Just go in order of Janelle. Janelle, sorry. I'm Janelle Piotr, resident of Town of New Paltz. I'm actually here though on behalf of Laura Dene. She has asked me to read her letter as she was not able to be here tonight. Dear Town Board, my name is Laura Dene, a filmmaker from New Paltz, who was also on the ENCB for 5 years. I'm writing you with my enthusiastic support for our town creating its own critical environmental areas. Our natural environment is so important to us, our wildlife, and the character of our town, and this is one wonderful step we can take to protect it. Currently, I'm working on a film about this very subject. Well, we're seeing a town near Ellenville created 2 CEAs, one a large swamp and one a farm that serves as a quote greenway unquote to allow animals to get from one forest to the other. The town of Wawarsing is bipartisan, and yet they unanimously decided to pass this. The people we interviewed said they did this because they understand quote what we have unquote. They said that the natural world is not only important for our environment, but also for the economic benefits it brings to their town in terms of tourists and second homeowners. And they told me once you know the area you want to designate, it is not a difficult process. This, of course, will not stop development in these areas. It will just add another extra layer that a developer would need to look at while they are planning within these CEAs. Developing critical environmental areas is also one action we can take to move forward with our Climate Smart Community Pledge. I'd love to speak with any of you if you would like to reach out and further discuss, or even recommend you reach out to Wawarsing with questions. Thank you so much for your hard work in making our town a wonderful place to live. All the best, Laura Dene.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Libby Zamaitis. I'm going to speak as a resident and then I guess as a professional. I'm born and raised in the town of New Paltz. I'm a property owner. My sons are 5th generation New Paltzians. And let's be honest, being a green city, being a green town is only going to spur development. I've seen it across the Hudson Valley where I work. I don't know that that's a good thing from a natural resource standpoint, but doing things like adopting CEAs and being really aggressive is only going to help us grow and help us get tourism and help us get people here. You know, we're seeing it in Kingston, we're seeing it in Piermont, we're seeing it up and down the valley. We've already positioned ourselves as leaders in this area, and we just need to keep upping the ante. This is a very clear-cut, simple thing to do. It should be done everywhere that there's an important area. It's just, you know, acknowledging a fact. So to me, it's very, you know, it's a strategic thing that we can do. The state has $150 million just last year alone, and it's about the same every year to fund communities that want to work on resilience. So the more that we do these things, the more that we're going to be recognized and rewarded, bring in more money, more investment, and just keep building this green brand in New Paltz. You know, we're starting to see other communities take the lead on that, and I think we need to keep up because we've had a longer history of being that town. So from that standpoint, I support it. I think it makes sense for us as a community and as a development strategy. And then moving on more to my professional hat, I've worked in climate resilience for over 15 years, helping communities up and down the Hudson Valley and helping companies nationally and globally working on sustainable development. And again, this is where the money's flowing. This is where the interest is going. I mean, for us to be worried about something like adopting large CEAs, I don't think it's in our best interest. So I am aware of the DEC and part of the project that is highlighting the town of Wawarsing on their recently adopted critical environmental areas. They are two very, very large areas, and they see them as their actual economic future. They see it as part of ecotourism. They're actually coming at it, in part from that standpoint. So I think it's great we're seeing places like Wawarsing are recognized as leaders for this type of thing. So, let's join along. We're actually pursuing, I believe the town and the village are pursuing climate smart community certification. This is a specific action in it that gets you points. That program has over $10 million of funding every year. Sometimes it's under applied for. So let's just have this be one of many steps that we're pursuing climate resilience, ecological resilience. We're getting state funding, and we're really building like the New Paltz green town where everyone wants to be, everyone wants to live. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I can't see the list, but who is anyone else on there?
Mary-
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I thought
You for
just had
public
sign
comment?
in.
Oh, no,
Taking
that's
notes.
fine. Very good.
Yeah, so if next person sign up, speak for this is the public comment for the CEAs.
Yes, I was made aware that I can make a public comment tonight, and my name's Eric Perlman. I'm a resident of the town of New Paltz. And I wanted to voice my support for CEAs. It makes sense to me that the town and village would designate these valuable areas in advance of people considering development, because our innate natural resources in our community are special and unique. I know people have voiced a concern that these areas are too big, but they represent a resource that is valued for not only the flora and fauna that is disappearing in our climate crisis, but for our enjoyment and our benefit. So I just wanted to make my voice heard that this seems like a very practical and important move for our community. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
And if is anyone else, please come up. If not, we're going to keep this open so people can come every 2 weeks. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. If no one else has any comments, we'll move on to we'll make a motion to leave this open, and we'll open the floor for public comment about any other issues, if anyone would like to make any comments about other issues, water meters. If not,
No issues in the.
if I can't believe it. I'm giddy after 2 weeks ago. So with that, I'll quickly close public comment, and I'd like to make a motion to approve items 3A through 3D on the consent agenda. 3A through E
Yep.
on the consent agenda.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then, so Dan, I don't know if you want to talk about this next one. This is authorization, a motion for the supervisor to sign a joint letter with the village regarding refugee resettlement.
So, I know our village colleagues jumped the gun.
They jumped the gun, but
Yeah.
the town board hasn't signed it yet. But,
So I apologize, I was not able to make it last meeting for that and for other things. But just a quick overview, there was a recent executive order by President Trump which requires communities to opt in for even the possibility of accepting refugees within their communities. Just as some background context, We did this already. We had a resolution, and I think it was December of 2016, essentially saying that this was something we were supportive of, and that was something we did proactively on our own. Due to the November election that year, that resettlement never took place. But now there is this executive order in place which makes this a requirement. That's actually being challenged through the court system presently about that not being a necessary requirement. But there was a number of community members who approached me saying that they were interested in this, and I can read the letter quickly,
Yeah.
just for people to hear.
Want this paper?
Even perfect, better on paper. So it says, Dear Secretary Pompeo, this letter is in reference to Executive Order 13888 on enhancing state and local involvement in refugee resettlement. In complying with this request, we feel it's incumbent upon us to educate you on the impact that the 12 refugee families and their descendants have had on their community and the United States. The town of New Paltz was founded in 1678 by French Huguenots. The word refugee entered the English language to describe the very people who established the town that we have inherited. Their early commitment to education over 300 years ago is why we are home to the State University of New York at New Paltz. And in just the last century, a few notable descendants of the original Huguenot refugees include General George Patton, W.E.B. Du Bois, Josiah Du Bois, an attorney for the Treasury Department who drew upon his own heritage as a descendant of the Huguenots when he lobbied the most famous of our New Paltz Huguenot descendants, President Franklin Roosevelt, to allow Jewish refugees into the United States during World War II. This action is estimated to have saved the lives of nearly 200,000 people. The seal of the State Department, along with most federal seals, features the motto of the United States, E pluribus unum, out of many one. Not only do we believe in the sentiment that this phrase has come to represent, but it's also noteworthy that the motto itself originates from a Huguenot. If the restrictions the current administration are imposing today had been in effect when our town was founded, our community and our nation would be at a significant loss. Per the executive order, and in keeping with the centuries-old traditions of our community and the municipal leaders of both the town and village of New Paltz, do hereby consent to the initial resettlement of refugees. So I'd like to move us to formally allow the supervisor to sign that and send that.
Second?
Any other conversation on that? Cool. So all those in favor?
All right.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Will that letter be like available for us to read at some point?
Yeah, it should be on
Should
the
be on the
town
town's
website
website.
right now as a
Okay.
document.
And-
Yeah.
And labeled as what? Which documents specifically?
So if you go to the town website, we post like where the agenda is, various documents for our meetings, and it should be available there. And if you'd really like a copy, I think we can hand you one before you head out today.
I
So.
could even take a picture.
Okay. Awesome. Yep. No
Thank
problem.
Yeah, we probably have, you might have one in your packet.
Yep. I probably have one too. All right.
So I guess the next is review of highway vehicle replacement plan, and then we have a discussion, if we want to. Chris has asked us, this is, where is this? It's the official form is, what is it? It's what's the, we have to approve this every year for the CHIPS, right? But this is the agreement for the expenditure of highway money. I thought there was a name, the name of it, but, I don't know. 284 form, that's what I'm looking for. So this is the 284 form that the town board approves every year. The highway superintendent submits a list of roads and expenditures for highway money. The town board reviews it and hopefully doesn't micromanage it. Lets the highway department do their job. But it's also a chance to have some input and some comments. And then as part of this, Chris was hoping to buy a truck with, at the end of last year, Chris sold a bucket truck and then asked the town board to buy a new one. Chris was able to get a really good deal on a bucket truck for maybe a third of the price that we thought we were going to get. And I think there's some extra money from that Chris wants to put towards this truck. And then the town board also budgeted some money, I think. Is that right, to buy this truck?
There's an equipment reserve fund.
So we have an equipment reserve fund that we put money in every year. And so I think we're part of that, and it's all lumped. And Chris is asking because part of the CHIPS money will also be used to buy this truck.
No,
Oh,
no chip.
no? Okay. So,
No chip.
Okay, so the CHIPS money is all being used for the roads,
Mhm.
and this is just, you know, if the town board had any discussions. We've also asked in the past that, you know, because we don't have as much experience with the highways as Chris does, it's easier for us to kind of see a bigger picture of, you know, what his plans for replacing vehicles are and, you know, how many we have. And so I asked that be included, and Chris provided it, the town board can read it.
Okay.
And if anyone has any questions, Chris is here. If not, you know, you know, do you want to talk about the roads that are getting repaved, or?
More than repaving, we're sealing.
You're sealing.
Roads that we've done, hoping to get 3 or 4 more years out of, which is chip seal.
Right.
It's on state bid, it's good price. We really don't have money anymore to resurface. We will be doing, hopefully old 299 with some money left over from paved New York and, early winter recovery that we weren't able to spend last year.
Okay.
Just
And I've heard
to get that.
they're both being maybe put back into this year's budget. We're at the Association of Towns this week. Nothing's guaranteed, but
There's advocacy day that the highway superintendents go up and, you know, we ask for more. Hopefully something gets put back in, but we have money left over that was able to be transferred. It just so happens that that price seems to work out good for redoing that. So that's one of them trying to, we left a little more in the residual, you see, it was just under $100,000, because we're gonna have to patch pave a lot of the roads first, and then chip seal on.
So I have a question. When you're doing that to all these different roads, when you're doing the filling and then the seal, the amount of money that's spent on patching all these sections of road year after year after year, does that still stay lower than your redoing it and having it actually survive really well for the next